Well, thank you for taking the time and welcome to Director's Notes.
Thank you
So, I
for
wanted
having
to
me.
talk to you about your fabulous film Tits.
Thanks.
Yeah, tell us where did this idea come from?
Very often I think it's hard to go back because it's takes a lot of time to develop these ideas and these films. So it's sometimes hard to remember where it all started. But it started with uh, Oscar, the male main character, uh, and the idea where was to tell a story about a young boy uh, struggling with the things you deal with uh, in youth, but also later in life. But uh, yeah, just like the ideas, I think started with an image of a young man standing in front of the mirror, getting ready to go out and see his friends, and the night doesn't turn out exactly the way he imagined.
Yeah,
That was like the foundation, and I built it from there.
yeah. And another fiction film, which you done, Sophia in Summer, that also
Yeah.
focuses on sort of younger people.
Mm.
Why does that sort of time of life, why does that appeal to you?
I think because I'm at the age now where I got like the perfect distance to look back and remember, but also I guess it was an important time for me. It's not all good memories, but it was a very interesting time to be alive, I think.
Yeah,
And it's a time in your life where you don't have to worry that much about, or at least if you grew up like I did, you don't have to worry about paying bills and stuff like that. So a lot of these basic feelings gets very strong, like feelings of friendship and feelings of falling in love. If it's summer as well and you don't go to school, it's all you have to think about, and you have to eat sometimes. But yeah,
yeah.
it's absorbing in a different way than when you grow up because you have other stuff to deal with.
Yeah, I get, I know what you mean. Those kind of smaller things become so big and they become
Yeah,
such a priority.
yeah.
Um,
Like it's the same way if like something dramatic happens, it's gonna absorb everything. And when you look back, yeah, you survived and it was okay. But at that time in life, yeah,
it's everything.
it's everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Your actors, I mean, they're brilliant. They're so natural, they're so fluid. How do you work with them to bring out those sort of performances?
Um, I spend a lot of time casting them because I like to like find someone that I can from early on look at, is this the right person for the character? And sometimes it takes time to find out, and sometimes it doesn't. And then we do rehearsals, and on set I try to like not say too much, really. Let them understand the role in their way. And this I try to that's maybe one of the most important things for me, to find out early on that they really understand the character and what the character is struggling with when they're not saying anything. It's and I'm very happy with that in both Sophia and in Tits,
Yeah,
because some of the most, yeah, in Sophia she spends a lot of time uh, not saying anything, and that has to invite anyway. It has to invite the viewer in to her brain
yeah,
and her feelings and her emotions. And
Yeah, you've got that, I think, in Tits as well, that scene where she's just lying in the water.
Mm,
You can just see her looking up and sort of all those reflections. And that, I mean, I think that brought me as well back to a
mm,
time of that youth where there's that freedom, but all these problems. And it's really
mm.
beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, so I try to just create a comfortable and safe space for the actors where they can uh, work, and I try to be as helpful as I can when they need me and when I see that something isn't working out. But a lot of those things you need to figure out before you start shooting.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned.
Mm. And is everything scripted?
In these two films, most of them. I mean, there are some lines here and there where they have taken some freedom, the actors, but most of it is in, especially in Tits. It's it's so much happening in 12 minutes
Mm.
that the script needed to be like, yeah, there wasn't that much time to. I like to go outside of the script and like uh, explore uh, what's happening right there and then. But with this film, we had so much to shoot, so much dialogue. Yeah, we we didn't have a spare moment
Yeah.
during those days.
So how many shooting days did you have?
With it,
Yeah.
two.
Wow, that is quick.
It's yeah,
And
it's
your
a lot of
your
work
camera
done.
work as well in that. I was just rewatching it again this morning. It's very close. You're very in on the characters, and
Mm,
it almost feels like sort of just personal like footage made.
mm, mm.
So what
I,
equipment, what cameras did you use for everything?
this is shot on 16 millimeter film, and
Mhm.
we wanted to be close, and we wanted to be like handheld most of the time, but not in a documentary way. I feel but in a way that we could like try to mirror the spontaneous feelings and like the raw energy of the youth.
And why did you choose 16 millimeter?
I always choose film if I can, and with this, it was like a good match for this story and this film, where I've tried to make something honest and raw and direct in some way. I think the film is kind of in your face, and I hope not too much, but it felt like the natural choice.
Mm.
I'm yeah.
No, absolutely. Why do you prefer working with film over digital?
Uh, I'm a film nerd from very early on, and when I got older, I started studying like film history and watching everything. So it's kind of when I grew up, everything was film. So that is so many years with watching film, shot on film. That in my head, that's the image on how it's supposed to look. And to this day, I still watch a lot of old films, and I watch new films that are shot on film. And so it's yeah, it's
Yeah,
just my preferred medium, but or format. But I on Sophia, we it was shot digital, but that was more of a economical question. It was shot during COVID and in the summer, and we had uh, almost didn't have a crew for most of the time, so we couldn't shoot film either because we didn't have the resources to do it, the manpower, or what do you call it?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
We didn't have a lot of the time. It's just the cinematographer doing the focus himself and everything. So that was impossible. I think there are every year a lot of great films shot digitally. So it's not about that. But if I can choose, I will always choose film, I think.
Yeah. There's something I think about the colors and about, especially in Tits, you've got that
Yeah,
amazing soft summer feel that sort of
yeah.
goes
And
throughout.
there I have an example. When you shoot water and the sun bounces down in it, and the glow and the tiny glitter that shows up on the water,
Mm.
it's impossible to create that digitally. It looks so much better on film. And those things are important for that film, I think, to like create the strong sense of that place, you know, because the location is an important one.
Yeah.
So where all the kids hang out, and yeah.
So the location, is that somewhere you grew up?
No, not really. It's but it's similar to where I grew up. It's right outside of Oslo, and it's one of my favorite beaches as I've grown older. But I grew up on like the other side of that. But it's a place where you can find kids hanging out at night.
Yeah. So did you have to clear them all away for your shoot?
No, we shot on the weekdays when school was open, so it was we were lucky.
It was easier.
It was.
So what about your nomination for Cannes? What does that mean for you and the film?
I mean, being invited to this festival is has always been my dream, so it means a lot, and it's kind of like the greatest recognition the film could get, in my opinion, or at least one of them. And yeah, it's kind of humbling because I have so much respect for that festival, and I always dreamed of going there, and not only to with my own films, but just to watch other films. So I hope that I can watch some great cinema during the festival as well. But it means the world to us. It's hard to put words on it, but I'm very thankful and very happy and proud.
Yeah. What do you think it is about Tits in particular that meant it's had this success?
I have no idea. But but it's, you know, it's I don't think it's for me to say, and so I think I'm the wrong person to answer. But I hope that we have made something uh, recognizable, and that it can be recognized anywhere in the world. I mean, Palme is a festival that invites films from all over the world, and I made the film kind of local in my head, you know, but the themes it deals with are probably timeless. Maybe it's more unusual to deal with those themes from a young boy's point of view
Yeah.
than with girls, and obviously because girls have been more sexualized and there's different kind of pressure. 100%. That is not really something I want to brag about at all. It's just because it's not a political film. It's just that's where the story started. um, and I think it was interesting to have two young people meet that aren't friends, but they're in the same school, and they have grown up around each other, but and they have all these prejudices
Yeah.
towards each other,
Mhm.
and they're basically dealing with the same problem, but in opposite ways.
Yeah. When I watched the film, it gave me an immense feeling of nostalgia, like for youth and for those, like you said, those carefree summers. But also I was so impressed by the viewpoint from Oscar. And like you said, that's not something we often see or experience. And I think it just gave the film a whole a different sort of, yeah, a different viewpoint and a look. So it was really beautiful in that aspect.
Thank you. That's what I'm hoping it does. And I've also like tried to make something not judgmental. The kids are just being kids, and sometimes they're mean to each other, but it doesn't mean that they're bad persons. There's a reason for her saying the things she says, because she's insecure and she's kind of pressured into doing something she doesn't want to, and she lashes out on Oscar, who is in that situation, has nothing to do with it.
So what are you working on next then?
I'm working on some longer projects, and I hope that I will get the chance to do that, to make my first feature film.
Okay.
But it takes time, and it's yeah, it's difficult, but that's what I'm working on and will continue to work on after going to this festival.